A months-long Spotlight on Maryland investigation reveals a hidden crisis involving seniors and vulnerable adults unfolding in neighborhoods across Baltimore and the state.
Gary Collins explores what critics say state and local officials have known for years but have done little to stop.
It all starts with a call for help, and it starts again and again and again, directing responders to the same collection of Baltimore City homes.
I just want to respond medical on 20-70 Garrison Boulevard for injury from a fall, 69-year-old male, 17 Bravo 1 response.
What we have is a quiet generation slowly slipping away, and nobody's noticing.
We trace addresses that received multiple 911 calls of seniors in need of services living at the same address. After pressing for answers, we obtained a list of 119 suspected unlicensed facility locations that the city has been monitoring of seniors packed in apartments and single-family homes with no license for assisted living facilities, no inspection, no oversight. What happens inside many of these locations is stuffed in the state's own records that we reviewed. A 74-year-old man found outside an alleged unlicensed assisted living home covered in maggots. Another 77-year-old man discovered lying in a bed covered in feces, a soiled diaper found in his mouth. And a 60-year-old woman unable to walk who fought to get her phone back so she could call 911. Medical institutions short on beds discharge what insiders call complex cases, who are often poor or disabled seniors. These vulnerable elders often end up in whichever facility will take them the fastest. Unlicensed operators charge between $600 to $1,000 a month, often capturing residents' Social Security or disability benefits, experts say. Meanwhile, according to attorneys, licensed assisted facilities typically cost $4,000 per month. The gap creates an underground economy advocates call senior trafficking.
It has been identified by a number of different actors or stakeholders in the community. We've come together to try to fix a problem that everyone saw.
Weeks into 2023, after winning his election, Attorney General Anthony Brown pushed to make operating an unlicensed assisted living facility a felony that could be immediately prosecuted. Zach Shirley, director of the Medicaid Fraud Control Unit in the AG's office, advocated for the bill before the Senate Finance Committee.
History has shown that some predatory unlicensed assisted living facility operators will never and should never be licensed. Their facilities are deplorable and their services do more harm than good.
Every state elected official who voted approved the crackdown on unlicensed assisted living facilities, empowering the AG to prosecute. Governor Westmore signed the bill into law. Our team confirmed with the AG's office that there's been only one referral from the Office of Healthcare Quality, regulatory arm of the state health department. The Attorney General declined to prosecute the Anne Arundel County complaint, citing insufficient evidence. That means 0 prosecutions, 0 cases brought against unlicensed assisted living facilities in Maryland, despite a unified push to reform. Mr. Secretary, we pressed Maryland Department of Human Services Secretary Rafael Lopez about unlicensed assisted living facilities at an unrelated news conference 2 weeks ago in Annapolis. While the state health department oversees assisted living facilities, Lopez's agency oversees adult protective services. What is your team doing to address issues of vulnerable adults living in unlicensed assisted living facilities in the state?
Actually, I'm not. Can you restate the question? I'm not sure.
So your agency oversees
Adult Protective Services.
Correct, Adult Protective Services. What is your agency doing to address issues of adults, vulnerable adults, living in unlicensed assisted living facilities?
So I'm not familiar with the specific question you're asking. I'll talk about when any case comes to our attention for any kind of abuse of an adult, we act urgently. And we make sure that we treat that adult with the respect and dignity they deserve. And so on a case-by-case basis, I couldn't speak to that. But ultimately, if a case comes to our attention, the leader who runs Adult Protective Services, who's under Dr. Studstill, he and his team will make sure they work closely with the local Department of Social Services and try to problem solve.
How many of these unlicensed adult assisted living facilities exist in the state?
I don't have that at the top of my head, but happy to circle back.
Lopez agency said days later, they do not have data categorized by setting.
My name is Emily Hammond. I go by EJ. I am a partner here at Brown & Barron.
We took questions to medical malpractice attorney Hammond, a seasoned litigator in cases of suspected elder abuse, who says she has researched and had conversations about unlicensed care facilities. Why do you feel that senior care and care for vulnerable adults and it operating in the shadows is not front page of the news every single day?
So our elderly population tend to be quiet, especially when they're ill. They're not making a lot of noise. If this was children or millennials screaming in the streets and marching, you would see much more attention to it. What we have is a quiet generation slowly slipping away and nobody's noticing.
Briefly explain that journey to me.
Well, at the end of the day, a long day, I pray, I just pray, and I sit back and I'll be quiet, and it gives me a peace of mind. I go to a quiet place, a little quiet area, and I pray to God in Jesus Christ, and then, and take it one day at a time. That's all I can do.
We spoke to 62-year-old George Gilliam in October, who lives at a location government records show is an alleged unlicensed assisted living facility on Garrison Boulevard. He says he likes the home and didn't want to be homeless.
And once I get food stamps, I can, get one of the workers to take me to the store. Because right now, I don't really have anything in my apartment to eat but a bag of rice and water.
Later this week, we'll follow George Gilliam's journey and that of others through senior housing in the state. But until then, have you or someone you know had direct experience with an unlicensed assisted living home in Maryland? If so, drop me an email or contact our Spotlight on Maryland tip line at 410-467-4670. I'm Gary Collins with Spotlight on Maryland.